G'day everybody. Uh, Welcome to another edition of Stock Talk. This is actually episode 17. And my name is Aman. I'm an investment coach and founder of Sage Investors. And today I basically want to talk a little bit about investment ideologies. Now, one of the things you hear about when people embark on their financial journey and they start working with an advisor or a confidant or a broker, is the whole concept you hear about of creating an investment plan or a financial plan, which is pretty much it's kind of like a business plan that kind of maps out a roadmap of essentially where you want to go, what goals you want to accomplish with your financially, what goals you want to accomplish in terms of your personal life, retirement, going to school, sending your kids to school, buying a house, those type things. And usually an investment plan kind of gives you that roadmap in terms of what you're going to need, how much you're going to need, the timelines you're going to have with your life, and also what kind of investment vehicles you're going to use to get to those goals. And that's pretty much what a traditional investment plan is, and they're all good. The one thing that's a problem with it is the moment the ink dries on those things, they pretty much become worthless, because the reality is investment plans assume that your life is going to be currently the way it is right now is the way it's going to be 20 years from now, and a lot of times it's not. Life gets in the way, and circumstances happen, and so a lot of times that investment plan kind of gathers dust quickly. What I think is actually more important is to come up with more of an investment instead of an investment plan, which is good in terms of identifying goals. But what's really important is having more of an ideology, an investment ideology, in terms of how you're going to get to those goals. How are you going to make, and what kind of decisions are you going to make on a day-to-day basis, year-to-year basis, with respect to how you invest your money, to build wealth, to create wealth, so that you can meet those goals that you've identified in your investment plan. And so I find that having an investment ideology is way more important than having that investment plan, because investment ideology, your value system of how you're going to make decisions, your decision-making framework is much more stickier. It's going to be there. It's going to remain with you thick and thin in good times, in a booming economy, in a booming stock market, as well as in a weak, bear market. And that usually, when you look at like people who are really successful at investing, that's one of the common things, is they have an ideology of how they're going to go about creating wealth. They have an ideology in terms of how they're going to make investment decisions, and they stick to it. And they don't deviate from that ideology. It is embedded in their DNA, and it's pretty much how they go about making those decisions. And so in terms of like what an investment ideology is, it can be anything. There's no such one way to have an ideology. It really comes down to what you're comfortable with. Like, for example, I know I've worked with people in the past who basically make investment decisions really on a personal level. Like they go about buying bank stocks. They'll actually go to the annual shareholder meeting and actually just listen to what the senior executives in the company are talking about. And it's really almost like a trust factor. And she would go literally after the meeting. She would always ask questions of senior management at a meeting. She would always ask a question, and depending on the response, she would get she would judge their body language on how they would respond. She would judge the content of their answers, whether they're just lying or just being truthfully honest. And she would make investment decisions based on it. And I find it really fascinating. But that's like an ideology, and she's been quite successful at it. And that's the incredible part. She's made some really great decisions. That's an ideology. Another type of ideology involves if you believe in reading charts and getting technical, using technical indicators to formulate your decision making. That's an ideology. They're all reasonable, and a lot of times you'll have camps of people saying, this one is better than the other. There's no and this is what I've learned in 20 years of doing this stuff. There's no fine right or wrong way to invest. There's good and bad in every type of ideology and strategy. So I'll bring this down to me. My value system and my ideology, and I wrote a blog about this. Actually, I posted it earlier this week. And it's basically my one word. I've taken my basic investment ideology and I've summarized it in one word. And really, my ideology involves around quality. Every investment decision that I make really involves buying and selling high quality assets, high quality investments. And the reason I believe that as a core is because In the long term, quality investments, quality stocks, owning stocks of quality companies, owning very good quality passively traded ETFs are really the best way for me personally to make better. I make better investment, a way for me to make better investment decisions. One of the things about quality, though, when you're looking at a quality investment, is it's very subjective. Like you can put a BMW in front of me, the latest and greatest BMW, and your interpretation of quality, of whether that's a quality car, is going to differentiate from my interpretation of it. But quality is very subjective. The other thing, a great thing about investing in quality assets and quality stocks and investment vehicles is that, like anything else, they can fall, they can crash. But the great thing about holding quality investments, which is a key thing, is that they tend to bounce back better. They tend to hold their value a little bit more. Key component, because one of the core components of investing is that we want to enjoy growth in good times, but in times when the market's weak, we want to preserve our capital. And as long as you're holding what you feel are high quality investments, those are investments that are going to retain their value or preserve capital a lot more effectively than just owning, XYZ. The other drawback, I guess, of holding a quality asset is they tend to be a little bit more pricier. So as much as you may want to look for stocks that are cheaper or trading at a discount to their intrinsic value, sometimes quality stocks don't trade at a discount. Sometimes they trade a little bit more of a premium. But at the flip side, you're paying for a certain level of comfort, security, and insurance, knowing that these companies are going to be a little bit more resistant to shocks in the future. But it's a trade-off. What's your risk tolerance? What's your ideology? And for me, my ideology is I'd rather sleep at night, and it involves about sleeping better at night. And so if I know that my portfolio is chock full of good, well-run, quality investments, then that's a good thing. So basically, in terms of I basically said my ideology is about owning quality. Well, what does that mean? Well, for me personally, a quality investment involves a company. When I'm looking here from an individual stock perspective, a quality investment, a quality stock involves a company that has a dominant position in its industry. It is a best of breed company in its industry, in its sector. They have the ability to have pricing power. They can set prices without drastic issues with competition. They have really strong balance sheets. They have very little debt, but they can self-generate cash flow internally, which they can use to finance their projects and grow further and grow organically. And more fundamentally, they can generate returns on capital that are greater than cost of capital. They create tangible economic profit. They create tangible wealth. And so my investment ideology is trying to identify those. That's what I do all the time, is I try to identify these really well-run, well-managed companies, and I try to find them and try to buy them when they're trading at a discount. Or in the case of a quality investment, I just said they may trade at a premium. Sometimes I might just have to bite my tongue and just maybe pay a little bit extra for it, because I know that the business is a well-run, well-managed business, and it will generate tangible wealth over a long period of time. Whoops, as my thing, I forgot my stand today, so I'm a little bit off there. So that's all I really wanted to share with you, really, is when you're making, as much as if you're starting out investing, or if you've been investing for like 10, 15 years, and you're struggling a little bit and trying to figure out where to start and, why am I not improving? Well, one of the things that's important is really developing this ideology, developing a bit of a value system of what you deem and what you feel are decisions that are going to help you generate more wealth in your portfolio and to help you get to answering the objectives that you formulated in your investment plan. So as much as it's important that your advisor is going to talk about investment plans and financial plans, it's important really to develop that ideology. And that's one of the things I do with people that I work with, is I help them try to frame their own investment ideology, because that is really what's going to stick with you thick and thin, and that's what's ultimately going to really separate you from being a run-of-the-mill kind of investor to somebody who's going to get some outstanding performance. That's all I wanted to share with you today. It's something I really feel important about, something I really I try to emphasize quite a bit when I work with people, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. That's about it. If you have any questions, you want to talk about some specific investing concepts, dilemmas that you're facing, I'd be more than happy to speak out to them. You can just hit me an email through my website, www.sageinvestors.ca, or you can hit me on Twitter. I'm on there all the time, babbling about market events of the moment, of the day, of the hour, and my own investment decisions. You can hit me at my handle's at Sage Investors. So give me a direct message me, and I can more than happy to try and respond. So that's been another edition of Stock Talk. Again, my name is Aman of Sage Investors, and we'll catch you again another time. All right, take care.